Good evening. You know how sometimes you have something on your heart and you hear something and then you get this clarity and so a lot of times that happens to me in church. I was in church this evening and the pastor was getting on a roll and he said, Jesus said, "Woe be to those who everyone says something good about." Well, folks, I am in Congress, and I do not have to worry about that. That's one of those woes that Jesus can just not worry with Ken Buck. Half the government is shut down, and we are on tap right now to have $1 trillion deficit with half the government shut down. The good news is that the whole government was shut down, we probably have $1.5 trillion deficit. The president made an offer today to the other side. He has been negotiating on a regular basis with the other side. He has offered a 3-year extension for the DACA recipients in exchange for the border wall funding. Now, the border wall funding, he was on a conference call with the House Republicans earlier. It is actually a pretty interesting issue because the vast majority of the illegal drugs that come into this country, heroin, cocaine, methamphetamine, are coming across our southern border. Most of those drugs are coming through ports of entry. We have the technology available now that every car that goes across the southern border through ports of entry, we have the technology to look inside that car and see if there are any hidden compartments in those cars that could hold drugs. Then we can pull those cars aside, search those cars, and determine if there are drugs in those cars. The president is asking for money to reduce the drug problem we have in this country, and the Democrats have said no. You're not getting that money. So what are the Democrats doing instead? The Democrats are offering needles to heroin addicts in parks to enable heroin addicts to use those drugs, but they won't allow us to try to stop the drugs coming across the southern border. The city of Denver has prohibited ICE from going into the Denver jail and talking to the foreign nationals in that jail who are dealing drugs so that they can deport drug dealers. They are being prevented from deporting drug dealers, but we can't get money to look inside cars to stop the drugs from coming across our border. Folks, this is not a winning issue if we get our message out. This is a winning issue for our side. That $5 billion is 1/1000th of what we are spending on everything else in government. We absolutely should get that money, need that money, we'll put that money to good use. And this shutdown is sad. I have a lot of my Tea Party conservative friends come up to me and say, well, what's so wrong with shutting down government? People are relying on paychecks for their families, the Coast Guard and others, hardworking people. So there are reasons why we want to make sure that we keep government open. And at some point, you're going to go to an airport and there's not going to be anybody working those security lines. There will be a problem at some point. Right now, the government workers are sucking it up without getting a paycheck, but we have to make sure that we take care of this issue. So I hope that the message gets out that this $5 billion is necessary and we need to move forward with it. So with that, I just ask for your prayers for all of those that are involved in this situation. God bless you.